Okay, so here we are at the very last lesson of Matinee VTM issue number 1. You know, Logan, thinking about it, and looking back at the same time, we never really told everybody why we're splitting Matinee up into an issue 1 and an issue 2. And if you think about it, we kind of covered everything there is for the most part in regards to Matinee, right?
Right. All you need to know for setting up actions, sub-actions, camera cuts, and even tying it all in with other elements in the scene, like characters.
Exactly. So, you know, why split it up into a number 1 and a number 2? Well, we'd like to be able to show you some really cool movies where we're doing some very fancy type actor control or actor manipulation, if you will. And in order to do that, we're going to have to get into a thing called Unreal Script. Scripting, okay? In other words, programming, for those of you that don't know. And that's when things are going to become quite interesting. And before we get to that point, we really need to have you guys, or a lot of you out there, go through the Unreal Script VTMs first. And as a matter of fact, that will be the very next VTM created. It will be the Unreal Script 1 VTM. And there will be a series of those as well. So with scripting, we can add quite a bit of flexibility. Wouldn't you agree, Logan?
Right, or be able to program our own actors that can respond differently to being triggered if we need custom stuff to happen, or custom retriggerable, or whatever you want, or a very complex actor.
Exactly. So in this lesson here, what we're going to do is it's kind of like a bonus lesson. We're going to show you how we can go in and we can set up sound effects and music. And the idea really is I'm just kind of sneaking this lesson in to introduce everybody to the scripted trigger. Okay. Now we've been looking at the Unreal Scripted sequence actors, and scripted trigger is very similar, right, Logan?
Right. You've got an action list. It's just that you won't be associating it with an X-pawn.
Exactly. And we're going to use these scripted triggers for controlling different sounds, when those sounds are going to be played, and we're also going to use it for controlling the music as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about the sounds. What do we have in the scene that's going to make sounds that we need to trigger? Well, let's think about it. She's got her own series of sounds. She's got the sound where she actually kicks, and then the one where she backs back up and says, "Oh yeah," in the camera cut. Now, we could go in there and we could add footsteps. There's a bunch of different things. We could add a couple of noises, actually, when she makes the kicking sound, the grunt, the swishing sound of the kick itself, you know, however you want to set that up. We're just going to keep it nice and simple. Just the kick sound and the "oh yeah." She's also got a few sounds associated with her. One, when she gets smacked. Obviously, when she gets smacked, we want her to have a little bit of a "ah" sound, okay? And then she's going to turn around and smack the ground. And when she smacks the ground, we want to make sure we have a bit of a sound in there also. So that's kind of two sets of sounds. A set here, and then, of course, one final sound, which is going to be the music itself. So let's go ahead and see how we can put these scripted triggers into the scene, set them up so that they can play the sounds, and then how we need to go back in Matinee and trigger all of those to happen based off of some timing that we've got set up, right?
Right. We'll have the actions ready to play certain sounds and then trigger it all off from inside of Matinee.
Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go ahead and come back into my Actor Classes browser, and we'll simply come back down to Key Point, AI Script, Scripted Sequence, just like we did earlier with the Unreal Scripted Sequence Actor, except this time I'm grabbing Scripted Trigger. So let's go ahead and we'll just simply right-click, add Scripted Trigger here. Now, Logan, if you want to go ahead and tell them about the importance of the location in regards to triggering sounds with this thing.
Well, when you're playing sounds are positional, meaning that they'll play from wherever the actor they belong to is. So, for example, that the scripted trigger is actually going to be playing the sound. So wherever it is where the sound's going to be coming from.
That's right. So in this case right here, I'm just kind of putting it somewhere over to where she's going to be when she makes her nice little kicking sound for me. Okay. So now let's go ahead and come into our properties for this scripted trigger. Let's take a look at it. First thing, let's go ahead and close out our browsers here just to kind of buy ourselves a little bit more real estate space, and we can close that up some. All right. What I'm going to do is come up under AI Script. Now remember, before we had to actually come down to events and give it a name so that we could then go over to an actor and associate it. We don't have to do all that stuff. It's much simpler this time. We don't even have to change the controller class. We're simply worried about the actions. So what I'm going to do is come over here to Actions, and we're going to add one. So let's go ahead and add. And the action that we want to do is basically come in and tell it to wait for an event. Okay? So we'll come down to wait for event, scroll all the way down. Okay, and we'll click New, and at this point, external event. What are we going to wait for? Kick, sound. Okay, we're going to wait for that to be broadcast out into the map. All right, so once that is broadcast, what do we need now? Well, we need to play a sound. So I'll simply come back up here, hit add again, and now on element number 1, I'll come down and change this one to a play sound. Okay, I'll go ahead and hit new, and now we need to come in here and assign it a sound. Well, let's go ahead and simply come up here, and we'll come into our sound browser. And then from inside our sound browser, let's go ahead and change this over to new death. I've already got a few kind of planned out here. And female Merc and FM hit 07. FM hit 07. And here's what we've got. Okay, so that's going to be her kicking sound. So with that selected in the browser, I'll simply come back over into the properties dialog and then just click use by the sound. And bink, there it is. Now, we may want to go ahead and adjust our volume. I've already been playing with some volume levels, so I'm going to put 0.3 in there. You also see that we can control the pitch as well, and that's something that we'll do here in just a minute. All right, the next thing I want to do is go ahead and put an oh yeah in there. So I'm going to come back up here to actions, and now I'm going to add another action. And again, we're going to come in and do a wait for event. So I'll come down to wait for event, click new. And then what are we going to be waiting for? We're going to wait for oh, yeah. Good enough. And after we hear oh, yeah, then we're going to come back up here, add one more at element number 3, or actually the 4th element in the array. And we'll come down here, and this one is going to be another play sound. So go ahead and come up here to play sound, click new. And now I need to find the oh, yeah one. So we'll come up here, and we'll switch over to the taunt pack. And let's see. This one is FM underscore oh yeah, so I'm just kind of scanning, FM, and O's are coming up. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah!
Alright, that'll work for me. So let's go ahead and switch back over here, and up under the sound, I'll tell it to use. And again, we're going to do a little bit of volume adjustment. That was a little bit louder than the from a second ago, so about 0.25 will do the trick. Okay, so that's going to pretty much wrap this one up. Logan, why are we going to use multiple triggers?
Because we need to have some sounds that will occur very close to each other and may even overlap.
Right.
So we need to make sure that they will be able to play at the same time and that they'll actually be waiting for the event when we trigger it from Matinee.
That's number 1. And number 2, again, is positional.
Right, so we want to have, that way that allows separate tweaking for the different sound sources.
Absolutely. So we've got, again, as I said a few seconds ago, kind of setting this up in sets of sounds, if you will. We've got her sounds taken care of. Now let's go ahead and take care of her sounds. Now watch how I'm going to go about doing this. We can just simply come over here and do a Control W, and now I've got this other scripted trigger that I can perhaps, we can just move back just a little bit to where she's going to get hit. And then we can just come back up here and change some of these things out, because we're going to be following through with the same list of things. Basically, she's going to be hit and she needs to hit the ground. So we can come up here to the wait for event, and as opposed to be calling or being called the kick sound, this time we could turn around and change this to perhaps hit sound. So I'll just come over here and say hit, like such. And once hit sound is actually broadcast, then we'll come down here to play sound. So let's go ahead and open this up. And the sound that we want to play is, we can go ahead and come back up here, and we're going to go back up to New Death. Just kind of searching through real quick. And again, female Merc. So we'll go ahead and come down, and we're looking for FM hit 02.
No!
Okay, so that sound will work just fine. And we'll come back over here and click use and make sure that that did indeed change to FM underscore hit 02. And in regards to volume, maybe a 0.2 or so, 0.25, I don't know, whatever works for you. All right, now the next one is going to be another wait for event. Let's go ahead and open up wait for event up. And, of course, we're not waiting for oh yeah this time. We're going to be waiting for perhaps hit ground. So hit ground to be broadcast. And then once hit ground is broadcast, the sound that we're going to want to have play will be, let's go ahead and come back over here to our sounds browser, and let's change this over to, I don't know, player sounds, and we're going to dig down to, actually we'll come over here and come into final, and then we'll jump down to land, hunting, grunt, let's see, night, land, grunt, a little bit more, there it is, land, grunt, night, female. There we go. It's quick, it's easy, but it gets the point across. Okay, so there you go. So with that, it's a little low, so we might want to adjust the pitch on that one. So we'll just go ahead and come back over here, click Use, make sure it does indeed change. We can come down here to our sound and adjust our sound level up, perhaps a little bit louder, so 0.7. Just playing with it, I found that the low numbers were just a little too low, like 0.2, 0.3. And then we could even take our pitch up to about maybe 1.3 or something like that. Sound good so far, Logan?
So far, so good. Just basically getting a setup ready for playing sounds.
Exactly. And then let's go ahead and do one final thing. Let's go ahead and close sounds out real quick. And what I want to do is we've got this scripted trigger selected. Let's just go ahead and do another Control W. And perhaps we can just move this one up and kind of back in between the two. Maybe something like that right there. And this one's going to be in charge of our music. Let me show you how we'd go about setting up music. Let's go ahead and come in here, and I'm going to start closing up all these different elements in the array. And we'll come down here. We don't need this one. We don't need this one. Actually, Logan,
We'll just clear that one and replace it with the music.
this one right here, we can just clear it and come down and play music right there. Go ahead and tell it new. And why would we need a wait for event if we've got music that's going to start at the very beginning?
Well, actually, we wouldn't really. It just needs to start in by itself.
Okay, good. I was wondering that just for the simple fact. That's why I kind of paused a second ago. I was like, wait a minute. I'm deleting things up here, and we still have this wait for event. This is something we really want to start out from the very beginning. So I'm just going to come up here to the wait for event and delete that out as well. We're going to leave this one as a very, very simple one. Now, in regards to play music, if we come here and open this up, we've got song. What song are we going to use? Now, Logan, you want to talk a little bit about how we need to go about finding the song that we're interested in using?
Right. There is no way to browse for the song, since instead of being in a package, it's just the straight music file itself, which are stored under the music folder of the Unreal Tournament 2003 folder.
So if I was to come up here and open up Music Browser, we don't have a listing of any music.
No, there's no packages anymore. They're all in .ogg files.
But if I was to magically open up my Unreal Tournament 2003 folder up under Music, da-da-da. Now, how can we go about listening to these?
Well, you can, if you have a later version of Winamp, I think 2.8 or above, you can simply load them into Winamp to listen to them. Or if you have a favorite music player that can read them. Or use, if you're patched to, if you're using the latest Unreal Tournament patch, you have the music browser. Just load up a level, hit F11, and you can browse through all the songs in there.
Excellent. So in here, basically, once you found the one that you want, we know we're going to use this one here, as we've modified it slightly just to kind of work in regards to the length of our movie, because music does loop. So we've got this only about 5 seconds or so, and we've cut it to where it's a part that's, got a little bit of action going on. So I'm just going to copy this. Notice I am not copying the .ogg. Okay.
Right. It assumes that it's only looking for the name, not the extension.
And I'll tell you this: if you do copy the entire thing, extension included, you're not going to hear any music back inside the game. So be careful with that. So I can go ahead and come back over here and simply paste that in like such. And I'll go ahead and set my transition, and let's just go ahead and set it to none. Okay? Just instantly start into it. So now I think we've got pretty much everything set up in regards to our control system for triggering off all of our different sound effects and our music, right?
Right.
So what we need to do now is go ahead and set up all of our sub-actions to go in there and control what we need to happen, such as the kick, the oh yeah, and the hit sound, and the hit the ground. So pretty much done with this guy here. What I want to do now is let's go ahead and come back over here and switch. Let's go ahead and grab our scene manager there. Come over here to actions, and now where do we want to put these? Let's go ahead and start on our first action right here, and with that one we're going to do the kick sound. So we can simply come over here to sub action, and what we need to do is we need to do a sub action trigger to trigger that sound, right, Logan?
Right.
So to put that in, it's just a matter of coming up here and coming down to sub-action trigger, like such. And now it's just a matter of setting it up. But be careful what is selected. Not that it really matters too much because they all get hit at the same time. But for organizational sake, I can go ahead and just kind of push that down, keeping all my triggers down low. Okay, so with the trigger in there, now all I need to do is simply come down here. And let's start out by, let's say, triggering the kick sound. So I can just say the event name is going to be kick sound. But right now, since this sub-action happens right when the first action hits, she's going to go, ha! Right before she even gets over there. So what we need to do is come up under time and put a bit of a delay. And I figured it out to be about 1.1 seconds, somewhere right in there. So now what we need to do is go ahead and throw in another one, and that is, let's go ahead and do oh yeah. So we'll just simply, we could come up here and just duplicate this one, and then we'll change this event that's going to be broadcast out to say oh yeah, like such. And then let's put a delay on it of about 3 seconds. Very easy setting this up. We're simply just triggering the different, remember over here they've got wait for events. We're just shooting out those events at given times. And the delay is 3 seconds, so after 3 seconds it broadcasts out, oh yeah. The trigger picks up, oh yeah, it falls through, and it plays the sound.
That's right.
Okay, so let's see, what else do we have in here? Hit sound. All right, we've got hit sound and hit ground. And hit sound's about, I don't know, about 1.3 in or so. An offset just a little bit from the 1.1. So we can go ahead and just simply duplicate this one, come down a little bit lower, change this one to say hit sounds. This is when the other one is being hit, other actor that is. And the delay on this one is maybe about 1.3. And then finally hit ground. So we can just go ahead and come in and duplicate it one more time. And let's just go ahead and change this one to hit ground. And let's delay it about 2.6. So 2.6 seconds in. And so something about that. What do you think, Logan?
So far so good. We've got our character sounds in place.
And really, this is about all we need at this point, isn't it?
Except for the music.
Except for the music. So, but my question is this. We're not waiting for an event on the music now.
Right. So so we wouldn't need a trigger.
That's
then.
what. Yeah. So let's go ahead and
technically, because of the way the level, you can set the music to, or the music associated with the level. And in this case, you could actually just use the level's music to be a certain OGG file.
Yeah, as opposed to the way we went about doing it.
You also have the play music, and the nice thing about the play music is then you could do a wait, or a wait to be triggered, or a wait for timer, or so on.
Exactly. Or if you wanted them to go into a dark area and it's going to trigger a cut scene with some moody music, then you could set something up like that.
And then that's where you would use the play music over the level, just a simple level property.
Exactly. And again, the idea of this lesson is just to introduce you to working with the scripted trigger. So let's go ahead and come in here and see what we've got. So loading, loading, loading. Lots of loading.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so everything look good?
Yep, except I don't think that custom music is getting played. We've still got the... yeah, that's
yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so hard for me to hear, actually, the speaker down there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's... Are you sure it's not? I can't quite hear. Hang on one second. Let's try this one more time.
That's just the default level music loading in.
It is?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. I can hear it now. Whew, sorry, guys. That was just kind of hard for me to hear. I'm quite a ways away from the speaker, so let's go ahead and exit out of that. So perhaps we need to trigger it?
That would probably work. That's the way.
Interesting.
That had initially been set up. I mean, if it's only one song, you can go into the level property and change that out.
I'm very curious about this guy. If I can get it to select for me, AI script, actions, and play music. And let's go ahead and insert one above this, and let's go ahead and change this over to a wait for event.
What it could be is that's just starting a little bit before the general music system for a level would start, and then that's overriding it.
Interesting. So let's go ahead and go for a wait for event, add that in, and let's go ahead and say the external event it's going to be waiting for is start music. Okay? And then we can just come back over here, and we can go ahead and duplicate this, and then just come down here and change what it is to start music, what it is being what gets broadcast out, and then delay is going to be 0 because we want to just shoot this out right away.
That's right.
So let's see if this works for us. It better work. Loading. I hear it. So now we've got our own music playing. Very interesting. Good thing to kind of figure out. So many different things inside of...
Because, I mean, again, if it's just a single song, you could have gone in there and maybe cleared out the level's own song. But this is just an example of how you would go about switching the music once a level has already started and is already playing its own music. If there had been a longer delay, say a wait for a timer instead of wait for event, we could have let the level's own music play for a while and then triggered our own to start.
Right. So with that... That's our final little movie. Very short, I know, but the idea is we want to keep these VTMs from getting out of hand because sometimes the downloads get so large, and we're trying to avoid that the best we can. But, I mean, the cool thing is you've seen now throughout this entire VTM what a scene manager is, how to set up a scene manager. You've then seen that actions belong to a scene manager. Okay? You've also seen that you can have multiple scene managers as well. And then actions, basically move camera or pause, can have sub-actions. And with sub-actions, we can do all sorts of things. You can see we're starting to create an interesting list of things right there. We've also, throughout this VTM, taken a look at Unreal scripted sequences and scripted triggers as well. So we've looked at, and one final thing was how to bring animated, let's go ahead and close this and just kind of back out here, how we can bring animated and skinned characters from 3ds Max or Maya over into Unreal Ed and make that custom content part of your actual movie.
Sounds good.
That's pretty much it.
Yep, that's it.
So with this, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on this VTM, and I really hope that you guys were able to get a lot out of it. And keep your ears and eyes open over at www.3dbuzz.com and www.masteringunreal.com for new VTMs being released all the time, absolutely no charge, just to help you guys learn. With that, we'd like to thank Epic Games and everybody else out there for their help in this. Take care. See ya.